So what I've done is I've sketched a very rudimentary face on here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use, this is a red and black mixed together. So I'm going to just outline the eye. So it's very much like before. We just come in and I'm just going to roughly outline the eye. And then we're just going to come in this side. Now, I'm getting, that's annoying, a little bit of, it's called orange peeling, where it just bleeds, it doesn't want to sit. And the reason why that has happened is when I've touched the surface of the nail, I've left grease on there. And then what I've done is I've drawn on it and I haven't actually made sure that then there's none on there. So that's not so great. So it's going to be a challenge for me this evening. Bar me redrawing this bad boy. We'll just push on. So we're just going to outline this. And the reason why we're outlining this is because the outline is going to remain. You know, we're going to have this bleed effect, but we're actually not, there are certain elements in this design that we need to keep, like the eye, because we need to see that there is an eye there. We also sort of need to know that this is an eyebrow here. So although we're going to bleed some of it out and we're going to use a different color, we still need to have some recognizable elements on this eyebrow. So this side as well. Just gonna. So I always recommend that you put your main features down first. And if you make a mistake with watercolor, you can literally just add water to remove it. I'm just going to keep going. I'm just going to come in with this nose area. And here as well. So I'm a little bit wet, so that's not very good. Okay, so we're just going to come in with the brown now. So we still want to get some outline. Just going to get a little bit of the dark brown. Oops, a daisy. I'm just going to come, oops. Oh gosh. There we go. So what I don't want to do is I don't want to be too strong because this is going to be a little bit multicolored, but I do want an element of sort of skin effect. So we're just going to add this yellow where the shadow would be, say, under the nose. We'll go a little bit darker with this brown. Get this brown over here. When you're working on a few of these, you'll find that your palette will be wet, so you don't have to keep going in and remixing. There we go. So I think we're okay for now. I'm going to come in and I'm going to start just coming down here. This is going to be like a yellow. So I'm going to use my thicker brush. Get some water on the brush, just get rid of the tip of the water, and I'm just going to bleed this out. So unfortunately, this is going to be annoying me now because I've got grease on this side, so it's going to be a little harder to show you. God. And that's my fault because I was rushing. I wanted to get this out and I should have checked. You see how all of this is, it's like orange peeling away. That area there has got grease on, so there's nothing that's going to happen. It's going to always just be, it's like having wax on a canvas. But that's okay, because this is very abstract, so we don't necessarily need it to be coloured. So let's put some darker colour down here. Okay, and we're just going to come in over the top here. And one thing I have found, if this does happen, is that if you layer it, so once I put that down, let it dry, come in again, layer it, it should work, or it should be okay. So I'm just going to come in with the yellow and just let this blend. You see, it's just literally just letting it all blend out. A little bit of blue, and the blue really is going to represent the shadow as well around the corners of the eyes. So we do want the blue to be there. Okay, and we're going to do this side as well. So one side is going to be more in light than the other. So this is going to be more in light than the other. So we don't want it to be too dark on this side. So why don't we do some green on this side? Why not go completely multicolored? Let's go, and this is nice and light. There we go. Look at that. Woohoo! So you see this dark line here? We're just going to blend this out now. We use our water. And then we're just going to, because I don't want them to be any dark lines. I just want them to be like a darker effect, and under here as well. And that center part, you know, the bit where your lips are, is white, right? It's light, it's not dark. So what you do is you just take away the paint. But we still need that shadow underneath. Oops. We're just going to come round, create our... Now, I have a pretty intensive portraits course which will show you how to draw this face. And, well, not this particular face, but how to draw faces, how to start this design. Obviously, we don't go into watercolour because it's not about the watercolour. So the portraits course is now fully available, and I have to say, pretty fucking awesome. Sorry for swearing. I do apologise. That was terrible of me. I know I really am sorry. Don't report me. But it is very, very in-depth and very, very good, and the results have been amazing, I have to say. Some of the nail designs I've seen the girls make, it's really good. So we're just going to go around. See how I'm softening up this line? So the line's not going away, but I'm letting just like with the dog, just letting it bleed out. When all this dries, you see how nice this looks? Every single one is going to be completely different because you just don't know where the paint's going to go. So we're going to always have a little bit of a lighter section at the top part of the eye here. This is the eyelid. So above the eye, where the crease is, we could go a little bit darker. So I'm just going to come back in, but I'm not going to go back in with that black. I'm going to go back in with the blue. So place the paint down and then come in with your wet brush. Just bleed it out and just let it dry. So it's all about making sure that you stay patient, that you don't overwork it. Now I'm just going to move. See how one eye is bigger than the other? See, that's eye. See how big that eye is? And that's quite small. I like this one. I don't like this one. So what I'm going to do is change the shape by moving or removing the watercolour. This is why I love this so much. It's just like working with gel. Whereas with acrylic paint, once that acrylic paint has dried, you're stuck with it. You actually can't do very much with it at all. You can't, unless you use acetone, remove it, because once the water has evaporated, that acrylic resin, that's left over, is just left over. Right, okay, so let's do the lips. So we're just going to come in with some red. So I'm going to just outline the lips first with the red. Now please make sure that your watercolor is dry everywhere else. Now the lips are quite plump, which means that the light will be on the plumpest part, so this section and these two sections. And then we're going to have shadow, so it's going to be shadow on the darkest part. So that's where the colours are going to be. So we're just going to, and we're going to do exactly what we did with the dog. We're going to bleed out. So I'm just going to come in with some black. We're just going to let this dry a second. Come in with just a diluted version of that red. We're just going to come in and we're just going to bleed out that bottom lip. Okay, and here as well. And what's so nice is that we can actually remove some of this to create those highlights as well. So that black hole is not necessarily going to be like that, but I'm using the black as a shadow. So I'm just going to come up just ever so slightly, tiny strokes. There we go. And then down here as well. Gosh, she looks really miserable. Let's make her happy. Looks so miserable. Yeah. See how we're just moving some of that paint around? Just taking away some of the hardness. We don't want that hardness. And what we're going to do is we're going to do something which is going to create. Oh, look at that. That's so cool. Oh, look. How daring am I? Did I give you all a little heart attack there? Sorry, guys. But it's abstract, you know, we can do this sort of thing. Should we add some yellow in there as well? There we go. So we're just going to take some of this off with our brush. Nice. Okay. Still not keen on the fact that she's so miserable, but we'll fix that when it's a bit drier. Okay, so let's sort out these eyes. So I'm going to give her some green eyes. Maybe just a little bit darker green. Just added a little bit of blue to this green. So what I'm doing is doing the green first. All right, and then once the green's in, we're going to let that dry. Sorry, concentrating. Okay, but then we can go in and we can actually add, I'm just going to add a little bit of black to the screen. Some black around the outside. That means that we've got that sort of dark effect around the outside, but we don't have to paint it on because it will just bleed into the green that we've got there already. Okay. So, do you know what? It looks like a dude. Maybe I'm doing a guy nail. Let me just take some of this off. I'm liking you. Right, we're just going to bleed this out. Although it's a bit difficult because there's that waxy corner. Great. Great work, Sam. Let's get this all red up here. We'll bleed the other side out instead. I do like it with the red, but it does look a little sinister. Like it's been murdered. But I do like it with the red. It's nice. Okay, so I think we're dry. That's a nice thing about all of this, is that it dries super quick. Okay, some black. So we want this to be quite dry, this black. And we're just going to come in with our pupils. Can't speak, sorry. Okay. Maybe too high. There we go. Sorry, couldn't speak. Okay, cool. I'm just going to come in with the black now and just really give him some eyeliner, or her. I might give, I don't know. Well, soon turns into a woman when you put eyelashes on them. But we're just going to give them the darker lines because that gives you, it finishes it off really, and we all have that darker line effect. There we go. So this one, literally every single nail that I've done on here has taken 20 minutes. So this one is pretty much in the 20 minutes. It would have been quicker if I hadn't have had that waxy moment. Oop. I'm just going to sort out the eyeball area. It's all about the detail. And then we're just going to create a little bit of highlight in the inner part here, the tear duct. And I'm doing that not by adding, but by removing. Because you can. There we go. I'll just come in with the... Now I will say, before you shoot me down, don't put paint on your skin. I am, I'm not a jobbing nail technician. So I'm an artist, really. My job is art. And that means that I don't get so much exposure to nail products like you guys. So when I do that, I know I shouldn't. And if you're going to do it, then either put a glove on or use a palette, a thumb palette, which I do sell. Okay, I think we're okay. So he's looking a little pouty, or she is, and that's really down to the confusion with the lips. I need to fix that. But before I'm nearly finished, so I'm going to look at the comments in a minute. So if you've got any questions, now is the time to ask me, because I will look at the comments. And then I also want to know if you want me to do this again, because if you do, I have to say I've really loved putting this together. Although it took, and I will all credit to Sandra in Australia, because she gave me the suggestion to do this watercolor effect. She because I had no idea what to do, but yeah, and then we sort of, once I just have an idea. So yes, anyway, sorry, what I'm trying to say to you is ideas. What do you want me to do? If you want me to do this again, let me know, because I will do it, because I've loved putting this together. So I'm just going to come in with some white. If you want me to sketch, do a design from a sketch, then you'll have to let me know. That takes a little bit longer. So I've just put little white in his eyes. Now I'm literally just putting the white in his eyes, and then I was going to come in with not that much water. Not that much water either. Gosh. Okay, that trashed that eye. So a tiny bit of water just to blend out that white. Bear in mind, okay, that the water will remove the black that you've put on there, which is what this has happened on this side. So you may need to go back in with some more black when it's dry, which we will do. Right, okay, lashes and then comments. So I'm just going to grab some of the black. Now the black, it has to be quite dry. So don't go on as wet as we've been putting it on. And when you do the lashes, you're going to start from the outside. And you're just not that much. Okay, you don't need too many lashes. And you can see I'm using the tiniest of brushes. Okay. And I'm just going to, the ever so tiny, like barely there lashes. Let's make sure you've got a pupil, otherwise you're going to look weird. Need a name. There we go. So there's lots of things that you can do to enhance this. Oh, God. Don't do that though. Are you seriously kidding me? Okay, come back in and remove any unwanted black lines that you might have. I can't believe I did that. And what I would definitely do is, if you're going to enhance this by adding detail and fine lines and all of these other things, I would come in and top coat before you do that. Because if you're going to use acrylic paint and it doesn't work out, which I probably wouldn't use acrylic paint. If you're going to use watercolour, I'd continue with the watercolour. I would top coat. I would top coat first, and then do another layer. But to be fair, what I absolutely love about this is that it is so free and easy and relaxed, and I like this whole sort of effect, the whole painterly effect that we've got going on at the bottom. I like it. I love this, but then I'm a bit of a I've got to stop now, Sam. I'm a bit of a watercolor nerd. It is my favorite thing to do, and I don't do enough of it, to be fair. I really don't. And doing this today, I've really enjoyed it, so I should do more. Right, okie dokie. Let's pop this away, and then we shall top coat, because I want to show you again how to top coat, because we don't want to lose any of this beautiful effect. And what does happen is if you don't top coat it properly, you could drag it off. But I need to make sure that we're completely dry. We are dry. Matte and go, whatever you do, because it does, although you could use, shall I gloss him? Shall I gloss? What shall I do, guys? Right, first one, gloss or matte? I think I should matte. I don't know. Gloss or matte? Pauline says the grease spot looks like it's meant to be there. Yes, it is meant to be there. I'm matte top coating because I like him. I like him like this. So what we're going to do is we're going to place the brush on the areas. We're literally dabbing over the top of the main areas. What I'm not doing, you'll see, I'm not dragging the brush. If I was dragging the brush, the chances are that I'm not going to lose anything because it is pretty much securely on there. But if I did, I would cry. So it's always best to sort of dab onto the places first, and then you don't lose that. There we go. Awesome. Let me just pop that under the lamp, and then I'll show you the results of our labour for this evening. So we have done the blue poppies, and we did this in pigment. So if you're just joining us, this is what we did in pigment. This one we did in gel. So we used the watercolor technique, and you can see I used the same technique. So this one was actually in watercolor, this one was in gel, this one was in pigment, and they're really all the same sort of look. So I could have done this in watercolor, I could have done this one in watercolor, it's the same. But the fact that we're using different materials to get the same effect was what I really wanted to show you today.